energize the minds. There's no rush like this, like heaven in the moment, like the only ones alive. There's no rush like this, heaven for
spiritual Sunday and the end of Pagan 2023. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm good. I'm thankful to be here tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in the chat. It's good to see everybody.
Yeah, totally. So we are not making a big deal about this being an end of the year thing because it's not the end of the year. That's not going to be until April 8th, which is the second Great American Eclipse, which is a phenomenon considering that to have a total solar eclipse in the same place, it happens on average every 375 years. So for it to be happening here twice in 7 years is quite the phenomenon. And that'll be kicking off the true new year. So what are we going to be doing tonight, brother? We're going to be,
Looking at what we did in the last 12 months, basically,
yeah.
here on the Awake Souls channel and a little bit on BFE.
Yeah, and so we probably will be hearing some fireworks throughout the. We're in Texas, where everything is bigger and louder in Texas, so we'll be going through that. But yeah, we're going to be doing some reviewing of the last 12 months, like you said, and we're going to be talking about um, the paganness, the actual paganness of New Year's. And there's a few other celebrations coming up. So if you do a little bit of research into the pagan calendar year, they have what they call 8 Sabbaths. They actually do call their pagan holidays Sabbaths. And yeah, tonight is one of the 8. And we have another one coming up on January 6th. Imagine that, huh?
Yeah, no, imagine that. We'll be watching to see what takes place. There's predictions, there's all kinds of stuff. Everybody's talking. You got the Q stuff going all biblical with 1717 talking about this and that, and you got the 13 cities. So, it's going to be an interesting night nonetheless after we're done. Um, and just, we're just here also to bring out new music again. Shout out to the Goldsmith and the entire team and everybody in the chat and all the people, the moderators and people that share the content. We're pretty happy and thankful that we do have a community of people out here, and it's great. You know, we would hope to find more people that want to find the truth and hear new music and keep up to date with what's going on, and we'll just continue to do our best to find more people, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. We actually, or I do, see the possibility of some sort of big event kicking off tonight in one of the cities like New York City, Paris, something like this. There's like 13 that Q is talking about. And I do see the potential for them to run some big event on New Year's Eve, but I also see it coming up on the 6th as well. So it wouldn't have to be tonight, and I would still be thinking that there's a chance this week that something like that would happen. So what that would be, we don't know exactly. We remember when the Twin Towers came down, nobody knew other than the Freemasons and all the secret society
Yeah, like
people
Alex Jones, right?
what it was going to be. But in hindsight, you get to dissect that it was a big theatrical event. It was like a magic trick that was done in front of everybody that tuned in and watched. And so I do suspect that they will be doing a big theatrical type event like that again at some point. Whether or not it's tonight or the 6th coming up or something like that, not sure. But no, we're always watching the headlines, trying to be on top of it. All right.
Yeah, well, asteroids, they got the blackouts, the all this crazy cyber hacking nonsense that they're carrying on. They're the big build up to the second Carrington event. That's what we're going to hear throughout the agenda. It was sort of forecasted on TV shows like Mr. Robot and a bunch of other places.
Yeah, totally. Is there anything else that you want to go through before we get into some of the content?
No, no, let's go. I think we have another song to go through, and we're trying to do a bunch of different styles of music too, just in case, there might be somebody that's never heard this genre or this style of music, and hopefully you guys like some of the songs.
Let's go.
boyfriend. I've been thinking about him a lot, so you're the one that means most. It makes me melt like butter on toast. I've been listening to the new track. I write when I walk, but still can't relax for 8 hours a day. It's 8 hours a day. So if you could just call me back, well, I'll be fine. Or maybe just another time. So let's pretend things are normal. I don't even like you, I don't even like you. I won't tell them that she stole you. I don't even like you, I don't even like you. I could be the one for you. We could travel the earth and I'd post it on Instagram. It'd be nice to feel your love sometimes. I've been thinking about your boyfriend. I've been thinking about him at night when I'm the one who means most. Yeah, I could be his butter on toast. So let's pretend things are normal. I don't even like him, I don't even like you. I won't tell him that she stole you. I don't even like him, I don't even like you. Let's pretend things are normal. I don't even like him, I don't even like you. I won't tell him that she stole you. I don't even like him, I don't even like you.
And we are back, and we are looking at a calendar.
Are back.
And this is the calendar that can be found in the description box. It's what we call the True Hebrew Calendar, part of Fundamental Truth number 5. And if you look here, December 31st, the end of the Gregorian year, we are at Kislev 19. And the funny thing is you will actually hear some of the rapture people and stuff like this now admitting that they had been a month off all year and that we're probably in the 9th month because, well, what that puts in play is that the 25th or the Hanukkah, right, the 25th of Kislev, does fall on January 6th, a day that's going to be coming up in just a minute regarding pagan holidays.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, this whole pagan holiday thing, how many years has it been just really well known for most people that Christmas is a pagan holiday? Would you say
5 years for sure? It's been a major talking point between anybody that's been, bored scrolling YouTube for the last 5 years looking at stuff. You've probably seen, Christmas is a pagan celebration that was banned in the United States of America, right?
Yeah, people have started to hear about that. And I just want to show people, if you do a simple Google search for pagan calendar, I want to show you what comes up in the imagery. You can do the research and see that they say that there are 8 of them. But I wanted to show everybody the way they're all set up and organized. So like this first one here, this symbol right here, you're going to see on a bunch of them. This symbol, you're going to see on a bunch of them. There's these repeating symbols where each person that's made one of these, they call it the wheel of the year, or the tree of life wheel of the year. And this is pagan, right? So each person that's pagan puts this type of imagery into these pagan wheels. And, take a look here. What we've got Yule set at the top here. And so that's the winter solstice. And then we just passed Samhain, right? So we had guys like Dr. Barriaw that were promoting, Christians celebrate Halloween, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's All Hallows Eve. This is for true witches, for the true Wiccans, for the true pagans, this is their actual new year. But then for the rest of the sort of uninitiated, they tell everybody that the head of the year, the new year, is here around the winter solstice.
Yeah. Well, and the people that call themselves the Jays, they also call the new year in the fall, in Sam Haines area here. Mid to late October is when they start their new year as well.
Yeah, so you'll see, everyone, that the calendar is one of the most distorted things that you'll actually come across. There's so many different ways it's been distorted, but the pagans have their version, and they have so the spring equinox, they get the bunny rabbit. See that the pagan connection to all these things. So here's that funky symbol again. There's that funky symbol again. I want to show everybody what that funky symbol is. That is what they call... No, go ahead.
No, continue.
That's the Celtic Trinity knot.
Ah.
All right, so this is Trinity stuff from Celtic pagans.
Yeah, and I do remember seeing these types of tattoos back in the day, and what I was going to state was it looks like the combination of 3 into 1.
Yeah, it is the Trinity.
Okay.
The Celtic Trinity knot, they call it.
The pagan Trinitarian doctrine.
Yeah, well, it is pagan. So when you see the Trinity, it is pagan, but it's interesting when you dive in and look at all the graphics that have been embedded. Now, this is granted, this is considered pagan. This was made by a pagan. They tried to make it as demonic and pagan as they possibly could, and so they put this Trinity symbol in it, and they have it pointed up to the Yule, the winter solstice, making the new year in the winter time, right? So they have life in this section, death in this section, and rebirth in this section. This is the pagan Trinity, the wheel of life, they call it. And so beginning at the winter solstice to the spring equinox, we are in the period called death on their Trinitarian wheel. And then at the spring equinox to the fall equinox, they consider that rebirth. And so here's your summer solstice, and they do have a pagan holiday right here. And then from the fall equinox to the winter solstice is considered life. So that is the pagan Trinitarian wheel of life. There are 8 Sabbaths, they actually call them, if you look it up. And I just wanted to show everybody that our calendar is really set. It's really set off of this. So this one, let's make this we need a more clear version of it.
You mean the Gregorian?
Yeah,
the calendar, not our calendar. Sorry, our calendar is set off of the sighting of the new moon after the sighting of the equinox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here is the pagan calendar of the year, everyone, and I want to go through this article a little bit.
So,
go ahead.
And this is why we're not celebrating some kind of a festival tonight. We absolutely, this is anti-life, right? We want to celebrate the new year, the bringing of life, like in the spring, where it's supposed to be. And it's simple to see that everything that's not right seems to get promoted in this reality.
It's pagan, and you see each artist twist. You'll see this yin yang. You'll see that tree of life thing. This is so people that use these symbols, all right, are pagans. When you see the tree of life like that, when you see here's your Rephaim star. A lot of them have the pentagram star. Now some of them will be turned, sort of like the Texas star is, and other ones will be turned like the Baphomet star is. But this is all the pagan symbology that has to do with the festivals that are celebrated throughout the world right now. So this is Wicca. This is pagan Wiccan calendars. This is like Druid. This is Celtic. That's where all this stuff goes back to.
Well, and adopted by Rome.
Rome,
Not
yeah.
to make it worse, it gets worse.
Yeah, so I found this article here that it says 7 pagan festivals we still celebrate today. So this is coming from a pagan's perspective, where they're going to sort of they're going to say that Christianity stole from paganism, and they're right. Well, the Vatican did it. So if you take a look here, holidays with a pagan origins, here's their list. They say Christmas, New Year's Day, so we're on the eve of that, Easter, which is going to be coming up, the Roman version of Halloween, we just passed, May 1st, Labor Day, that'll be coming up. Now this Epiphany, or Three Kings Day, you're going to see that this is going to be coming up January 6th, and then St. John's Eve. So I just sort of wanted to go through here and point out to people that this is actually going to point it all back to the Romans. All right, so first under Christmas, all right, it says, for an ancient Roman, December 25th was the time to celebrate Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. The sun god was venerated under different names all over the enormous territory of the Roman Empire and became the most important god during the 3rd century AD. The Emperor Aurelianus built a big temple for the sun god in Rome and inaugurated it right on December 25th, 274 AD. It is no wonder that the biggest celebration of the sun god fell on this date at the beginning of wintertime, on December 21st in fact. With the winter solstice, the sun wins his battle against the darkness, and the daylight hours slowly increase. That's why such a peculiar date, marked by the victory of the light, was busy with the birthdays of many gods. Dionysus, Hercules, Adonis, Mithras, and even Tammuz, the ancient Mesopotamian god of fertility.
It's a lot of bad gods being born on this so-called date.
Right? It really is. But December 25th was only the last day of more than a week of celebrations in Rome known as Saturnalia, leading up to the Dies Natus Solis Invicti, the birth of the sun. Starting on December 17th, the Saturnalia involved a lot of banquets and all sort of parties with family and friends. During this time, all social rules were reversed, just like in the Carnival. But the most significant aspect of the Saturnalia was the traditional exchange of gifts, just like we do nowadays. The most popular gifts for this occasion were little figurines of gods, made out of clay that used to be put on display on an altar at home. This might be the origin of the Italian tradition of the Nativity. No! This was just false idol worship, right?
Yeah.
So here's the one that we're right on the eve of, right? New Year's Day. What do you think the paganness of this is?
It's not going to be something with like 2 heads, is it?
So also, for the Romans, New Year's Day was a very important date, but the most interesting fact is that originally the Roman year didn't start on January 1st, but in March.
Oh.
This was mainly because March was the month dedicated to Mars, they say, the Roman god of war, which was also believed to be the divine father of Romulus, the founder of Rome. Due to extraordinary circumstances in wartime, in the year 153 BC, the Consul Quintus Fabius Nobler exceptionally moved New Year's Day to January 1st for the first time in history. So here, in 153, you get the bump to January 1st.
Satanic Rome.
Mm-hmm. However, it was Julius Caesar in 46 BC with his Julian calendar who permanently established the holiday on January 1st. The beginning of the year was dedicated to a very peculiar Roman god. You knew it, brother. Janus.
Two-face, not head, right?
According to the mythology, Janus was the two-faced god of doors. In fact, his name Janus comes from Iona, door in Latin, beginnings and passages. That is why the first month of the year, January, was named after him. On New Year's Day, the Romans would go on a procession to the top of the Capitoline Hill, where the priests would sacrifice a white bull to ask protection from the gods for the new year. Moreover, the high priest, the Pontifex Maximus, would offer to Janus a pie made of flour, cereals, cheese, eggs, and olive oil to invoke the god's benevolence.
Yeah, now how come they don't talk about this in the history classes? And why don't we learn? We never learn about the ritualistic nature of the Roman culture. All we ever see is that they're supposedly political, and they were debaters. They were this. They came out of the Greek. Everybody was aspiring to be super learned and well spoken and Saspicadalian, right? Or not so Saspicadalian.
Yeah. So here's an important statement. The people would then celebrate by feasting together and wearing something red, which was supposed to bring good luck, health, and fertility. So we are right on the eve of this pagan, this is one of the 8 pagan holidays that they have, New Year's Day.
Look at that painting. I mean...
So this Easter will be coming up, and we'll just let everybody know the paganness of it. Easter is a very peculiar Christian holiday which doesn't fall on a specific date as all the other festivities, but it is based on the cycle of the moon. In fact, it falls on the first spring Sunday after the new moon. See, that's a psyop. It can't just land on a Sunday every year, everybody. You gotta be dumb to think that could happen. The Jewish root of the Christian Easter holiday are widely known. The Christian festivity is in fact connected to the holiday of Passover, which has its foundation in the exodus of the Jews from Egypt. So they're going to try to steal away, Passover and attribute it all to Easter, right? But many traditions associated with Easter show completely different and pagan origins. In fact, the word Easter itself comes from the name of Ostrae, the Germanic goddess of spring. The famous Easter eggs and the Easter bunny, which is supposedly to deliver candies to the kids, were originally associated with Ostrae as symbols of rebirth and fertility. But what about the Romans, you ask, right? The Romans had a spring holiday around March 15th dedicated to Anna Perina, a pretty obscure goddess who was variously identified with the moon or some Austrasian mother goddess. Most importantly, she was a deity of the circle of the year, given that her holiday would fall right on the first day of the year, according to the original Roman calendar. It was customary to celebrate with meals with family and friends, particularly in the woods, sacred to Anna Perina. On this occasion, the Romans would drink a lot of wine, since it was believed that each cup would lengthen their life by 1 full year.
Who came up with that idea? Come on. Out of here.
Oh, that's too funny. A traditional way of honoring the goddess, as she was also associated with the idea of fertility and rebirth, was for couples to make love by the river.
Yeah, in essence, it doesn't sound anti-life. I mean, but, we know that we don't always make the best decisions when the competition is to drink as much red wine as you can possibly drink, that you're going to have some issues, right? Oh, you'll live longer and prosper. If you could drink 50 bottles of red wine, I don't think that's going to end well.
So we already passed this pagan holiday here of Halloween or Samhain, right? So everybody...
witches say it.
Everybody knows that Halloween traditions originated from the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. We don't need to go through that. We know that. So May 1st, Labor Day, is pagan. Pagan.
Yeah, that's another one they like to do their sacrifices on.
Yeah, so That pagan holiday says, as most people know, Labor Day is a holiday that was established in 1894 to honor the labor movements and unions that improved the conditions of millions of workers. It does seem very modern, right? But it is not. In fact, May 1st was widely celebrated in ancient times too. For the Romans, May 1st was dedicated to Maya, an ancient goddess associated with the element of fire and with fertility. The entire month was, and still is, named after her.
That's that character from Game of Thrones with the red hair, right? With the fire. They're always burning everything down.
I gotcha.
The symbolism there with the fire.
Interestingly enough, Maya was considered a mother goddess, and that's the reason why, after the Christianization of the Roman Empire, the church decided to convert the ancient festival of Maya into a holiday dedicated to another heavenly mother, the Virgin Mary.
Wow, I mean, come on.
All right, so the Epiphany, or Three Kings Day, have you ever heard of this?
No, not like that.
Yeah, it's new to me, but
The Triune King Day.
apparently this is a thing that Christian churches celebrate. I've never heard of it.
Orthodox, maybe?
Yeah. So every January 6th, most Christian churches celebrate the holiday of Epiphany, remembering the visit of the Magi Kings to baby Jesus, or according to Eastern tradition, the day Jesus was baptized. So you see how nonsense the idea of Jesus being baptized here.
As a baby or as an adult?
No, like just his baptism, like.
Okay. They celebrate that on the 6th.
Yeah, but people know that he was born at Tabernacles and baptized on the 8th day, and then appeared in the
circumcised.
Yeah.
Baptized was just before
that's
the
Elul, you're right.
Yeah, Elul. Is it Elul 1?
Elul 1. Yep.
Yeah. So this article is inaccurate. It's on a faulty premise.
Yeah, it's got it in January. That'd be
It's the Orthodox Christians that have it in the wrong spot, actually.
that'd be cold.
I mean, why would you?
Middle of winter.
Jordan, now, yeah. We saw the Holy Spirit come down on him. He was steaming.
It'd be cold. The rituals associated with this festivity differ from country to country and involve traditional cakes, such as the Three Kings cake, or chalking the house doors with the initials of the Magi Kings, or simply attending Mass. Sounds crazy.
Sounds a lot like Catholicism. And the marking of the doors is like a paganism version of, Passover, where you mark the door with the blood, right? Now you take white chalk and write the initials of,
Yeah, so then it goes on, the Belfana, whose name is actually a corruption of the word Epiphania, is a little old witchy lady who lives in the mountains. During the night before the holiday, she flies on a broom and delivers little gifts, mostly candies, to the good kids. The naughty kids instead only receive coal, even though nowadays the coal is made of sugar, luckily for the naughty kids.
Oh, so they're both good? It's telling you something there, right? And there's nothing wrong with old ladies that live in the mountains and they want to fly on brooms. It's just when they start to corrupt good men's hearts, right? That's what we're watching out for.
Yeah, so the Romans used to believe that during the 12 nights following the winter solstice, the moon goddess Diana, accompanied by two obscure deities, Satya and Abuntia, respectively, the personification of satiety and abundance, used to fly over the fields to make them fertile. Moreover, the year itself was seen as an old lady, possibly representing Mother Nature itself. Before dying, she would make the last gift of seeds and food to the people as a promise that she would be born again in spring.
Ah.
So, yeah, that is January 6th. I mean, this sounds so ridiculous, but then they did the whole thing January 6th with Trump. All right?
Yeah.
And So it's a high pagan day. We just went through the list of high pagan days. We're at one of them right now, tonight. High pagan day. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to cover about the paganness of this time of the year, brother?
No, you nailed it down. It was complete.
All right. Well, let's see. There's one other pagan day, but that's not until summer. That's right at the summer solstice time period. So we got a little ways to wait before that pagan holiday rolls around. What do you say we play another one of these songs, and then we'll come back and start doing a year in review?
Okay, let's do it.
Nice music tonight.
Well, just to mention while you bring that up really quick, it's just amazing to, this last year and the last few years, I don't have to listen to the same music twice ever, really. Like the next week, I get a whole new playlist and I listen to that and we get another whole new playlist. And if people had any idea of what it's like, so, there's great sites like Beatport and there's other search engines, but like Spotify, which has all the best sounding quality music and all the music's there, doesn't have it listed in any genres. So you actually have to go throughout the internet and find different places where new music is being released and then back search it to find the highest quality version of the song back on Spotify. There's a lot of work that goes into these music groups that you guys hear. And, I wish there was more people who would catch on. So we tried, at least I've been trying to, for, almost 10 years now, to sort of, bring the MTV vibes or the music vibe into the whole truth community with the podcasting. It was the dream of mine. And it started with having a speaker and a microphone up to the speaker, and then we finally figured out how to, pass through the audio, our internal audio, and the sound got better. And, remember we used to use those stupid plugins that it would go all crazy. But the Apple products now are the best. If anybody out there that's into music or into podcasting, you need to get the Apple products. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the music team, the Goldsmith, everybody that puts in the hard work. These last 12 months, we've been just, I can't wait. Well, in April, we'll do our picks of our favorite of the year, right? But wow, the music's been great last year, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But all these amazing songs, and I like you said, I don't actually get a chance to even hear them twice because you keep on putting out new stuff like every day.
It's just incredible. I could have never imagined it would happen like that. But if you're searching for things online, and not only that, but the team that we have, that we don't use that same method just for music. It's applied everywhere. So for any truth researching, what you need to do is you get you get a list of all the shills, and then you start keeping tabs on their content, because the shills are the ones that drip out a bunch of the truth. You just have to decipher what their lies are from the truth. And if you set up these systems where you're looking for things, you just catch them, and then they go through a filter process down to they make the podcast. And there's a lot of times where you'll hear what I'm going into. Send me that one, and you'll like the music too. And it's a variety of we're going to like maybe 20 genres. But yeah, enough about the music. Let's talk about the content that we've been trying to showcase the music with. And if there's ever an ad on any of these videos, it's because we let the music creators take the monetization. That's what we always wanted. But so you're starting with
Beyond Flat Earth. Yeah. So this is our roots. This is where Ronnie and I first started putting our content, is a co-channel called Beyond Flat Earth. And if we go back to the beginning of last year, guess where we were? We were on Beyond Flat Earth. Yeah, so we were dealing with community guideline strikes last year at the end of the year. And so for people that don't know, because we fight for the truth, we do have to deal with community guideline strikes from time to time. And so this channel, Beyond Flat Earth, is our backup channel. So when there's a strike on Awake Souls, this is where we go. So give it a sub. Also join a reality check, and that's where we post our links as to where we're going to be. So you can see at the end of last year, we were just going into the T-jump section. And do you remember the balloons, the satellite balloons? It just so happened that we used it as I remember the ridiculous hoax. Yeah, so this is the year in review. This was pressure on Earth. This was when the Chinese space balloons were taking place, and we were just pointing out that all the balloon evidence shows that we're on a plane, not in outer space, right? On a globe in outer space. So that was last year. And then And then we were back on Awake Souls. And that was... I had to reboot, so my tabs got messed up. But yeah, so we had done the... I think this was our first one back on Awake Souls. Let's check this out.
Corresponds with the Mazzaroth, or the garland of crowns in the sky. There's 12 crowns we're looking at.
Pause. And this was, later in January. So at the end of January, we did the Hebrew calendar update where we pushed for the 13th month needed to be added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was splaining there on the crowns. So it's great that you've brought that up. The addition of the Adar number 2, or when we add a 13th month to keep our calibration to our seasons with our festival dates. This year we've had a question come in as to how is the whole entire community going to line back up again when we know we've been off. We were a month behind, so everybody was more than 30 days with all of the festivals ahead of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to take place?
Yeah, let's bring up the calendar here. And, we're seeing how we're at Kislev 25, the 9th month, 25th day, Hanukkah, January 6, 2024. And then the next new moon will be the 10th new moon. That'll be January 12th. And then the next new moon will be the 11th new moon. That'll be
close, guys. We're almost back to the new year. We're almost done the winter.
That'll be February 10th.
There's a couple new moons to go. The 3rd new moon from now.
The 12th new moon.
Okay.
3/11. There's a
Adar 1.
Yep. And the thing is that this month right here, 3/11, will be considered the 13th month for everybody that had gone early last year, right, with the 3/22.
So now they're going to have...
This will be...
2.
Yeah, they will have a 13th month this year, beginning March 11th, where it's actually the 12th month. And then, so on April 8th, we're going to have that total solar eclipse, and then the new moon the next day, April 9th. So this will actually bring everybody back together. Everybody that was off for a month last year, the whole time we were going, they're a month early, they're a month early. Well, they'll add the 13th month, whereas we won't be. And we will come together again and be in sync, I think, until 2026, when they're going to go early again, and we'll be waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we actually follow the luminaries, not men.
Mm-hmm. So that's how the calendars will come back together. It'll be nice that we don't have to say, month off. What they will be is they'll still always be a day off, because what they count the new moon from no moon, right? They don't wait for the sighting. They wait they wait for it to not be seen, and then they say
the other thing. Their Sabbaths are all offline.
Yeah,
they're all not aligned correctly.
That's true too. Mm-hmm. Because they'll say something like Sabbath is on a Saturday,
right? Or Friday after sundown.
Right.
That's when the true Sabbath is.
Yeah, but that's nonsense, everybody. Just simple math here. The months are always 29 or 30 days long. If you look at this column on the left-hand side, you see how nicely it's been labeled with the Hebrew names here. There's either 29 or 30 days in the Hebrew month every single month. That never changes. And so with there being 7 days in a week, right, if you multiply it out, 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. So it will never, ever land on the same day of the week, named day of the week from month to month, Sabbath. It can't. It's impossible.
It moves. It moves. Just like your birthday might be on a Tuesday this year, next year it might be on a Wednesday, the next year it might be on a Saturday. It moves. Okay, that's the way. And the reason everything moves like that, we likened it unto the Sky DJ parable. All the luminaries have different clock speeds. So to keep them all aligned, we were given this simple instruction: is that to keep the head of the year, Abib or Nisan, in the month where the sun itself is aligned in the constellation of the Lamb. That's how we keep it calibrated.
Yep. So that was what we were doing at the beginning of last year, and then we had a protracted battle with guys like Dr. Barrion and all these rapture guys that
Unbelievable.
had to do with the calendar being a month off. All right, so
Oh, we got T-Jump.
yep. Let's go to
Lost your play.
I went to here we go. So
Got it back.
it was the Hebrew calendar update where we came back here, and just scrolling through here, we're gonna see who gets the most amount of call outs.
Goat tongue. Barry did the goat tongue call out on that one.
Yeah, so here we are, bursting the spy balloon psyop. It's hard to believe that
Zechariah Malachi.
that was a headline. Zechariah Malachi, then the Eric Dubé New World Order spiritualist. So this is where the Janus thing came from.
Oh.
Eric, it makes me laugh. If we go to, he brings the graphic up here with the Janus. See if I can spot it real quick. Well, there it is. Found it.
Oh. Yuck.
Listen.
He's just like so toxic. Like, I can't even think of another character in the reality right now as toxic as Eric.
And he's referencing all of this to say.
Become once they take the blood oaths, because you're now.
All right, so we've got Eric Dubé now. Yeah, so Eric is the one that was promoting the whole Janus thing. So that came up again tonight. That's tied to January 6th.
Oh, no, New Year's.
Or
January 6th was the Three
Oh.
King
That's right, you got it.
Epiphany.
No.
Roman nonsense. So now we're moving on. We've got the New World Order is saying about March astrological standpoint.
Yeah, and then so all these guys got called out because they weren't going to be allowed to use the eclipses that we had last year because they went a month early on their calendar.
Yeah, so we had the big debate, and we started telling these people and sending them the news and the information and, tagging them on Facebook. And, we went about it. I mean, it seems extreme at some point, but mimetic warfare, spiritual warfare, everything that's done here online has a use. And if these people are literally doing these things, us, hey, timestamping that and sharing it, look what these people are doing is absolutely what we're commanded to do.
Yeah. So we do
Parabolic keys.
we do a mix, everybody, of we do flat earth, we do free energy stuff, we do all the truth topics, and we try to devote as much time as we can to biblical things. And the things that you're never going to hear your Sunday preacher talking about, the deeper stuff. So Ronnie's a specialist in the parabolic keys. And anybody interested in understanding parabolic language really does open up so many understandings, right, brother?
Yeah, it takes you right to the mysteries to the kingdom of heaven. You really need to get acquainted with the parabolic language. Christ was constantly, everything that he ever said was parabolic, every word. His entire life, everywhere he touches down inside of the scriptures from the beginning to the end is parabolic.
Yeah, so this was sort of a continuation of that. Parable of the Leaven and Baruch. And then here we are doing an explained video, so I must have released the Zodiac video.
Yeah, one quick thing before you go, I'll give the people just a quick hit of what the parabolic language is like. So everybody remembers that Christ was walking on the water, right?
Yep.
So there's a few instances throughout the scriptures where you'll have characters walking on clouds, waters, the sky. And so water in the parabolic language was the symbolization of time flowing through creation. And Christ was simply showing that he was the one that was walking through time with the creation.
Absolutely. So the Zodiac video, unfortunately, I didn't make nearly as many videos this last year.
Well,
as
maybe we'll try to make more videos next year. You're a little down, but it's tough. It takes a lot of hours, and conditions have to be right. Yeah, for me, I have to be inspired to make a video. I can't just
13th
force
month.
it. I guess I could, but would it be what I want? I don't know.
Yeah, so if anybody's
It's a great video.
If anybody's interested, this has to do with understanding the stars, the fixed stars that are in the ecliptic. So this red line right here is what they call the ecliptic, and this is where you find the constellations that that we're referencing as far as like Pisces and Aquarius, and there's 12 constellations, and when the sun is in it, that's how we determine what month we're in.
It's very important. Very important to understand the Mazzaroth, or the zodiac, the sky, the houses of the sky, and the 7 wandering luminaries. So you understand that the word planet, right, was taken from the word wanderer, right? And these are the stars, and they've always, perplexed mankind. But they're just timepieces traveling again, like I had said, the sky clock or the sky DJ. They're all at their own speeds, mixing together, and they wander. That's why they're called wandering stars. And the sun and moon are also part of this class.
All right, so I'm going to test Ronnie right here. I don't know if you can see the screen well enough. Based on where the sun is, what month of the year are we in?
The 12th month.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be Adar.
Adar. Yeah, so if...
You scared me. I was a little worried. I was like, you were going to tell it if I didn't get it quick enough, but I could definitely see that the next one on the horizon there is Aries.
Yes.
Which is the first of the month. That's where I quickly went to. But you can see Pisces. I want people to see Pisces has this V shape. Okay. Mm-hmm. It looks like a band. It's supposedly like fish jumping out of water. But what I want you to understand is the second left-handed part of the fish, that's the finish line or the start line of the year in the sky.
That's it. When it crosses over this, all of a sudden, boom, Aries, New Year.
New Year.
All right, so if you're interested, everyone, and so one of the things,
that's a great video.
One of the things that we have spent so much time focusing on is showing people the actual path of the sun around the observer, and that is from horizon to horizon. So this type of view right here is a third person, bird's eye view. People are becoming familiar with that from their GPS and stuff like that. You get an outside look at it, one that you can never actually see in reality. But when you see the path of the sun around the observer here, that you see that the sun is coming out of Earth and setting into Earth. It is not circling above us, horizontal to the ground. Big.
Yeah, absolutely not. What we witness, film, repeatedly see, everyone on Earth, everywhere has always seen the sun rise up out of the ground, go above their heads, slope back down towards the other horizon, and then set into the ground. That's what you've seen. And there's no one that can say that that's not true. It might sound weird to you to hear me say that, but we actually have footage of trees behind the sun, hills in between the sun's rise and the sun sets. We can see these things, clouds behind the sun and the moon. really shows that the closeness to them and that we're in this special virtual reality that's supernatural in nature. And we've been lied to about it. We're told there's a dome and the sun is up 3,000 miles circling, never setting, right? Always coming and going, they say. They make up all this nonsense. Then they start denying the scripture, right? Because they think the sun is some outside of the dome thing. The scripture says that it is inside of the sky, the firmament they call the dome, which is really the vast expanse that is the sky.
Yep. So we'll move on here. And so we did an explained hangout regarding that, one of the few videos that I did get out. And then the Wacky Waco psyop came along. Do you remember that?
David Koresh made an appearance. I didn't expect Waco to come up, but sure enough, the Trump symbolism. Remember, we had January 6th coming up. This is that Three Kings Epiphany Day. Trump, a Jesuit, mobster, mafiosa, also Kabbalist, is also involved in the David Koresh Waco thing. He did his first 2024 campaign in Waco, right, at a memorial day for when the murders happened there, supposedly. So go figure how that took place last year.
Mm-hmm. So then we continued parabolic language, going deeper with that. We're always sharing extra canonical scriptures. So we've tested and know, or they have the parabolic language. They have the keys. You can test them and see that they match the rest of scripture. And then we like sharing those texts with people. And so the Gospel of Nicodemus was really powerful, right?
Yeah, well, there's so more. There's still more. There's so much when the scriptures say, ask and ye shall receive, and more will be given unto you for those that do well with what I give unto them. And we've never had an end. There's still many more books we could read. And then it looks like we're now hitting April. So
April Fools.
2 prediction videos to watch. And I think we've had 1 or 2 of the mid-tro type tracks. Do we only have 1 more of those?
Yeah, we got 1 more left.
Okay, so we'll just keep banging through. So here we go. We got April Fools. Look who's making. I guess if we were to have someone do a ticker or a count, I think Barry Ah. It's either Barry Ah or Aaron for most appearances so far.
Yeah. It's
last year.
He's got his ridiculous YHVH hat on. Right.
And you got Aaron with his ridiculous rapture helmet. He's thinking that it's just mockery. I mean, if everybody doesn't realize what's going on, he's just mocking. He's mocking the scriptures.
All right. And then what about Bob? Right? What about Bob?
Then we had Bob, the passing of Bob Nodell.
Yeah.
That was a serious, that was a 4-hour podcast. If, that one there is kind of terrifying. Listen to that video. I don't know if you're tuning in right now. We went through this for 4 hours reading and talking about all these scriptures, and some of that stuff just terrifies me.
We did it on camera too.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
A lot. Yeah, we had to do it. Where's Bob now? And how do you want to be remembered? That was the main understanding, is then that there's consequences for our actions here. That was what happened there. What is the judgment? When we continued it, we read more of the vision of Paul, which is an incredible story that you get a whole higher level understanding into heaven and hell and judgment, and you start to see a great picture. And you learn about grace that was given unto those that were slewed by Herod, and it gives such detail and depth.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then there was the true New Year's, right?
Yeah.
So we got pumped because there was a hybrid solar eclipse taking place right before the true Nissan one. So we were all over it.
In the thumbnail, you can see now that band I was telling you where the fish were jumping up. The sun is past that band. It's now headed into the sign of the lamb or the ram, Aries, or Telaha in the Hebrew.
Yeah. All right.
We're going to continue. This is obviously a happy time of the year. everybody has to enjoy the New Year and the spring and the festival of Passover and the new bread and wine covenant, right?
Yeah, and then right after that, we came out with a new fundamental truth.
Yeah,
Right? So
that's a good thumbnail.
for the first, let's see, it was from 2017 until 2020 that we had just 4 fundamental truths. And
We started going.
then we started going. So then the 5th fundamental truth was the calendar, which came out in 2020. And then the 6th was the Trinity is Kabbalism, right? And then the 7th ends rapture. Yeah,
Those that are
so
raptured are taken to destruction.
yes,
Destroyed.
so we went after the rapture because this had some stuff came up that made it really easy and obvious to see that the rapture was false doctrine. And then we didn't introduce the fundamental truth until a little bit after that. But we had the true Passover, and that was May 5th. All right, that wasn't second Passover. And then fundamental truth number 7 came out. And this was a neat stream. We had been asked to do 12 questions atheists asked, and then our response to it. And it, people still reference that. We still do get questions regarding that. I think, there's a number.
The unholy trio or trinity there.
Yeah. There's a number of people that come across us because of the flat earth, and they had never been Christian and probably even anti-Christian most of their life, and then they find out that they're on a flat earth and understand that there's a creator, and so it's a tough transition for a person, an atheist. They thought that they didn't have a creator. Now they find out earth's flat, and then they're confronted with it. So these were 12 questions that lots of atheists ask. Yeah, and then more clicks of these guys showing up in the thumbnails, right? Steve Fletcher gets another appearance.
Steve and the unholy duo.
Yep. So we did a study on the 2 witnesses, and it's really clear, everybody, that Moses and Elijah were the ones at the transfiguration. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what about Enoch? He never died. Well, when you go through the stuff that we share, you'll find out that if you said Enoch, you would be right as well. All right, so.
Well, we think we don't. So the whole mystery that leaves with the kingdom to the reincarnation part, which you're going to see a few podcasts past this one, kind of starts to get down into those types of topics.
Absolutely.
And that takes us to fundamental truth number 8.
It does. So, Christian reincarnation. We are Christians that stand in opposition and have a different take on a lot of things than a lot of typical Christians do. And reincarnation is biblical. And the proof of that is that John the Baptist was Elijah, and he is going to come again. And then we also did tie it into how Christ was the first Adam and the last Adam. All right.
All correct, yeah.
So one of the things that we spend so much time on in flat Earth is the true distance that people can see, because people have this idea in their head that they can see trillions of light years. Yeah, because that's what they've been told, that star is trillions of light years away. Well, the truth is that the distance that you can see to the horizon, the record stands at about 105 miles. And that is seeing Mount Rainier from some road stop. It has to do with the elevation of Mount Rainier and the elevation of the place that you can see it from. And nobody's given us any examples that are more than 105 miles.
Except for lies. Right?
Except for lies.
Have like clouds or misty stuff on the horizon. That one guy that would talk funny and he said he worked for NASA, but that's it. They're claiming thousands of miles, right? It's just nonsense.
Thousands of miles. Yeah, and the thing is that when you understand the true distance that you can see to the horizon, and you understand the path that the sun or the luminaries take around you, you'll see that they do rise and set through the cloud layer, and you will be able to see clouds behind the sun and moon, proving that they are in your circle of sight. Now this one was an interesting one. The Brenda Weltner debunked. She had made a challenge that we took, and she didn't respond to.
No.
But we exposed that what she was teaching was false doctrine, and this actually did bring us some fruit. And there's a number of people that were frustrated from the false teachings coming from people like Brenda Weltner, that because we stand up and we fight against these people, call them out as wolves in sheep's clothing, that is how we find some people that have become disenfranchised with some of these teachers. So
yeah, well, it comes down to heart condition. If you have a good heart condition and someone shows you the truth, you accept it. If you have a bad heart condition, you mock it or run, or there's multiple paths. So, we're reaching about 6 months. You know, this was a good segue. We do have why don't we watch part 1 of the Simpsons episode preview and listen to a song, listen to part 2, and then do the second half. What do you say?
sounds great.
So we've been showing that the Freemasons and the Jesuits have been using predictive programming with the Simpsons episodes. I'm sure most of the people that are tuned in here, I know you're all super experienced with these types of theories, but this is what they're predicting for 2024. And what do you have to say about it, Jason? What you see? So first off the bat, on the left one, I see the stupid ball Earth globe sphere wet ball rocket.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't watched these yet, but I do see a fireball coming towards a spinning globe Earth. So I'm thinking
It's a fireball, you think?
Well, that's sort of
sun? What about on the right side? It's like the sun's on fire. And then on the right one, part 2, if you've tuned into the Rise and Grind this morning, we watched part 1, and now we've got part 2, but we want to make sure, because we know that a lot of people probably didn't see that. You'll see both now. So we've got a snow globe, right? Or a magic ball on part 2. We've got some kind of a government or politician holding Bart's hand, but Bart's dressed up like Lisa, like a woman. He's a tranny, or however you want, transformer. Then on the other side, I think we have Lisa dressed up like Homer or like a boy. We've got what looks like a fake disc moon, clearly not spherical. You can see the disc edge to it. It's got clouds, not quite behind it, or sort of does have a little bit of clouds behind there. On the top left, you can see a distinct line going behind the moon at the top, or that's the sun. I don't know. Oh, there's a bunch of lines going behind the whatever object that is at the top. There you go. That's one of the lines. That's the symbolism. I don't know why Bart's got, like, it looks like Lisa's hair is behind his head and he's wearing 2 sets of pearls. You got the MM or MN on the ear of the right ear of what looks like, is that supposed to be Homer, or is that Lisa?
I don't know.
So yeah, these are the Simpsons predictions, and I'm sure some, donut guy with your Illuminati news could tell us all, like, oh, look at the clouds, it says like evil or something. We're probably missing so much, but that's just what we see.
Yeah, let's check out the first one. Start this over.
The latest predictions from The Simpsons for 2024 are genuinely eerie. This one is absolutely disturbing. In season 24, episode 9, Homer Simpson is preparing a bunker fully stocked with provisions for his family, anticipating something dreadful on the horizon. Shortly after, a solar superstorm strikes Springfield, a silent, invisible tempest sweeping through the town, causing severe consequences. This catastrophic event leads to a complete shutdown. No internet, no electricity, everything comes to a standstill. A solar superstorm could wipe out the internet for weeks or even months or even forever. The portrayal of a solar superstorm in the episode aligns with the potential real-world impact such an event could have. Interestingly, NASA has recently made a shocking discovery, a massive hole in the sun called the Coronal Hole. This hole, large enough to engulf 60 Earth-sized planets, is currently releasing solar storms at a staggering speed of 1.8 million miles per hour and could be headed to Earth fast. The last time the Earth experienced such a storm was in 1859. It was known as the Carrington event. The 2024 solar storm is predicted to be 60 times more powerful than the 1859 solar storm, possibly the strongest ever recorded in history. Such solar storms can have catastrophic effects on Earth, affecting satellite power grids, GPS, and potentially wiping out hard drives and the entire internet permanently. Might take decades for us to recover. It's only a matter of time.
So you see the symbolism. They're talking about the Great Carrington event, which I don't even know if it even happened. We did do a research into that study, and there was some interesting stuff that took place. Like Aurora Borealis seemed like really far south.
Yeah.
Right?
Really far south.
And we're seeing a lot of northern lights this last year. We've been covering it a lot. And crazy weather phenomena, as well as these two eclipses super close together. And we know that these eclipses do create, the first one after it happened, we had Harvey. We had a crazy hurricane that just spun for 3 days above us here in Texas. It just spun. It didn't move.
It's like being in a washing machine for 3 days.
Yeah, it was just the window. just water. And so now we have coming up in less than 6 months, another one of those eclipses in the springtime. So, you know, they're close together.
Yeah.
And the sun, right? We've been seeing crazy solar activity.
So you want to say take a song break here and then...
Yeah. Let's do our last song break, and then we'll get back to the part 2.
Let's go. So we had sort of skipped over this one. We started doing Flat Earth Fridays again. Right? We hadn't done Flat Earth for a while. We got into Flat Earth Fridays, and, we just have to bang on the impossible model, the circular sun and moon doing horizontal circles over Earth model as much as we can, because people still fall for it, right?
It's true. It's true.
Yep. And so then after going after Brenda Weltner for her saying that there's no 7-year tribulation, and it's very obvious from the scriptures that there is, more Flat Earth Friday and stuff like this, the circle of sight and distance to the horizon explained. This is essential knowledge for people that learn Flat Earth. It helps a person understand why things will disappear from the bottom up out at the horizon. Right? It's pretty important to know, but this goes back to a video that Ronnie made a long time ago, even before the Mall Angel video, that shows the circle of sight is based on a thing's elevation. And we even were able to bring out a formula that anybody can use. So if you want to know the distance to the horizon, you take the distance to the horizon equals the square root of the height times 1.23. Very simple formula, right? 1.23. You can remember it because it goes 1, 2, 3. You just go 1.23. So square root the height times 1.23, and that will tell you the distance to the horizon when it's going to start disappearing from the bottom up. Right? And then we show people all the modeling. You can do it in a 3D model. You can do everything to scale. And the amazing thing is like even when you zoom in and zoom out on the computer, things will disappear because once something gets down to 1 pixel in size and it's smaller than that, it can't be rendered anymore. So more proof that we are in a virtual reality. The way things are rendered to our eyes is exactly the way they happen in computer programs with 3D modeling, right?
You can mimic it perfectly.
Yeah.
Whereas you can't with the sphere.
Yeah, and so we just continue to show people that, with the high-powered zooms that we have right now, you can zoom in to the horizon on a perfectly flat plane. You can find a large mall, tons of different places that you can go, that you can put the camera down on the floor, and you can see that as a person walks away from you, they will begin disappearing into the floor once they are going beyond your circle of sight.
Crossing the vanishing point.
Crossing the vanishing point. So it, it's all right here. You've got 3D modeling proof. You've got real world footage of it. People want to understand how boats seem to be going over a curve as they go out and away from you, and it just has to do with elevation and the vanishing point.
Yeah, I'm also one of the only debunks that they've ever had to sort of prove that they think that they live on a sphere is that the further the way that you go away from a lighthouse, the less and less if you see it from the bottom up until it vanishes, right, beyond a vanishing point. And that's what understanding your perspective and the distance to the vantage point and how rising in elevation gives you a larger field of view. You start to understand all the different ways that we actually have been fooled. Right? It flips it back onto them where Jason's Mall Angel video does away with the Robotham defeat because the lighthouse, they saw less of it, right? Mm-hmm. The further Robotham went with the character away from the lighthouse, the less of the lighthouse they saw. And that was how Flat Earth lost the debate. Supposedly that they thought that proved curvature. And now you have people that show like the Chicago skyline with like 3/4 of the building gone. And they'll say, look at this silly, stupid flat earthers. Here's proof of the curvature. When you look at the horizon, it's perfectly level, perfectly flat. All the buildings are standing perpendicular, perfectly at 90-degree angles. If they were actually beyond said curvature, the buildings would actually be leaning quite a bit backwards.
Tipped away from you, yeah.
And this isn't what we observe anywhere in reality. It was the late Matt Fokker. Mac Fokker was a skydiver that said he went in between two cities and they're 50 miles apart, and he had first-hand eyewitness that both cities had parallel buildings, which is impossible, on a sphere of the radius that we're given.
Yeah. So then, more Flat Earth Fridays. You had Mark Sargent coming out and pushing virtual reality again. People that know Mark know that his Flat Earth Clues propositioned Earth to be like a video game like world. That's how he got popular, and then he immediately became a dome pusher. And so it's absolutely not fair that all these fake flat earthers will use terminology like being in the Matrix and NPCs and all that kind of stuff like that, and then say Jason and Ronnie are stupid for thinking that we're in a virtual reality.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson says that you're in a simulation, they'll say, right?
Yeah.
Mark, the guy that says he understands everything from the video game standpoint, should be the #1 virtual reality guy, explaining how the boundaries work, how everything is set up in a video game stance where you have an infinite loop in all directions when you have a defined border system. Anybody that's ever played a video game knows this. And you only have the area that's highlighted is what you can see, just like we can only see so far when standing on the ground. When we rise in elevation, we can see further. It's the exact same thing in video games too. Mark knows all of this.
Yeah. So then nowadays, anybody that's anybody in the Christian truther community, you got to have an end times eschatology chart, right?
Gotta be an eschatologist.
You're just not cool unless if you got an eschatology chart.
You got to have it. But no one has what you got. And it shocks me, It really does shock me that it's like this, no one ever wanted, I was never the cool guy. Surprise! Everybody's tuning in. I was always picked on. I wasn't the popular guy. I wasn't always picked on. But anyways, Jason made what is, in my opinion, by far the cleanest, most detailed, really high quality graphic where he actually followed the perfect chronological order of the scriptures, how it is written. He didn't play around with things like jumping all of these different crazy, aligning them all into one day thing. Jason specifically went verse by verse, scripture by scripture, perfectly without any agenda. I can witness to this. I witnessed Jason's non-agenda, but to get it right, made all these amazing graphics, and I haven't seen one YouTube channel or content creator share it other than me or you. I haven't seen anybody make a video and even reference what they want to reference to it, explain their version of it, because Jason has aligned it, the cards, the correct positioning of everything. This might have been probably the best video, eschatological video ever created. this map here.
Well, the link to it is still in the description box. And we have it updated with the 2024 date. So we had it set up with 2023 dates that didn't come to fulfillment. So now all these things stay in the same places, but now the dates change for 2024. So we still do have that.
Yeah, and the difference between us and everybody else that has anything eschatological is that Jason and mine, they change. We update them. Whereas everybody else, like Barry Oz, got his crayon drawing that he'd have to scribble the whole thing out if he was trying to be accurate. And then you got Brenda, she's got a book somebody wrote that she says it's hers, but it's not hers. Or I don't know her full story. But she's been quiet. We haven't seen much out of her for a while. So she was starting to creep up the list of top shill of 2023.
Yeah. Haven't seen her in a while. So then we got into multiple lives doctrine, which is reincarnation. That is being born again, literally, not just being baptized and having, the Spirit reinvigorate you.
But Jason, how could you crawl back inside your mother's womb and be born yet again twice?
No, you die and then you're reborn again. Born again.
Well, isn't that what he said? Follow me. What did Christ do? He gave his life. He died, right? And he was risen back to life again.
Yeah. So
that's the parable of the fundamental truth number 8.
It is. Yeah. Works nice with 8, the loop, the infinity.
Yeah. He was showing that he was the infinite one.
Yeah. And then back to Flat Earth Friday, massive circling sun debunk. So when you use 3D modeling of programs and you try to put the sun up rotating around doing circles, it is just really, really, really obvious that the sun cannot be doing circles up above us, horizontal to us.
Can you zoom in a little bit on that? I just want to say, so anybody watching, what you can see here, I like that intro too. So the sun, we are the sun. We're a little bit up to the left. As you can see where the shadows are falling on top of the map here, on top of the thumbnail. This is how we like to try to teach people how to see where the shadows fall, and you can start to understand where you are on the map. The circling sun map, so their AE map, there's a good representation of what we see in reality right there. Okay, that's a beautiful diagram of what takes place. But their map, it absolutely falls flat on its face, because in the winter months, in the northern parts of the map, and the sun travels to the wrong direction right off of the AE map. Right? If you go back to it, I don't know where it was. Or were you trying to reference this? And that's not a dome. Jaron and them tried to say that this was your personal atmospheric dome. When
this is what a person can see from horizon to horizon.
Circle of sight.
Yeah, and it's showing that the sun rises at your horizon, at the ground, and sets at the horizon, at the ground. So the luminaries are literally rotating around you in your circle of sight.
Verify this every single day. If it's clear out, you can go and look, and you will see exactly that. And then you had that whole thing where, Q did have it in his video, that he thought he had this big debunk of us. And so, but this is a good example of the analemma. So the snapshot of the sun. Right, once a month, or is it once a week? And then you stitch them together.
Or once a month for a year.
You stitch the pictures together, and you get the sun's path, and then you can calculate the 6 gates. Now we have a change. Do we have Andrew Marsh close by? Here, well, that's Andrew Marsh. We have a change and an update thanks to a really astute viewer.
Yeah.
To stay, I give credit where credit's due. You brought it up to me. So what we used to teach is so where the sun is where the east sign is. That would be where the equinox takes place. And then there's gates 1, 2, and 3, and then they go back upon themselves on the left. If you want to explain, so what we used to count was 30, or 29 or 28 days, the correct count for each month. And then
I can bring up Andrew Marsh now.
It would go 15 days out, and then we thought it would go 15 days back upon its path, right? But there's been a correction here that we need to update everybody.
It's good.
You've had it. If you want to do the update, I know you've got it down pat.
Well, I don't know if it's down pat, but I think I can figure it out.
Pat is down. I mean, continue.
So let's bring the sun around here, and so it's sort of out in front of us here. You can see our sun, that we are on the equinox, March 21st right now. So we can go forward months or backward months. Let's go forward. And so we're going to go to the next 21st. So we're going to go to April 21st. And we'll get the sun here where you can see it's gone from this line, right? This would be gate 4. It's now on gate 5 right now. And we'll go to the 21st again. It's hard to get it right on. I'm at May 20th. And you can see that we're now at gate 6. All right, so it's coming up on this line right here. But now watch what happens. We thought it was 15 days out and 15 days back. We're going to go to the next 21st. And so the next 21st, it's really hard to get it. I'm at 20, 22, 20, 22. So it took 30 days to go this narrower section. Right? That's the part that we had missed before. So it's not 15 days out, and it's not in 15 days back. It's 30 days out right here and 30 days back, and then another 30, and then another 30. And so that's how we end up with 180 days for a half a year.
So if we were able to get a really, really accurate, well, this is a pretty accurate program. What it's telling us is it's not the sun's speed, as in it taking 24 hours to cross above your head, and then 24 hours, the sun will be directly above your head again. It's talking about the distance that the sun moves south on your horizon. When you see it, you line it up with a compass in the morning, you can measure its rise and its set angle, and it continues to move out south or away, right? And then it comes back and it moves closer to us, and then it goes above our heads further north. Now, it's either that is equidistant or it's slowing its path outwards.
Yeah.
It does it twice a year.
So it moves up a bigger notch for these months, and then this month here, it's not going. If it was going at the same rate, it would be rising and setting way out here, right? If it was the same, so the amount that it comes up farther north each day is about half the amount that it does during these gates.
So, and it's interesting. All this does absolutely align perfectly with a 5,000-year-old book, the Book of Enoch. Right? It explains perfectly the 6 gates and how the sun works and how it rises. And Enoch was just explained it. You know, it looks like Enoch was brought into a room with a screen, and they showed him this program, and he wrote it down. Right?
Yeah.
The sun goes first through the first gate and traverses back upon itself. And he gave the sun's rise, and he had one of these programs for the moon. And then he wrote down all of the moon's positions. And then so what you'll get is you see the arc here of the sun, right? So then the sun is the closest, right, of the luminaries, the wandering luminaries, which are actually called, planetas or planets, right? Which meant
Moon is right.
the moon, wanderers. And then, the moon is the closest. Yeah. The moon. And then we went over this today, right?
Yeah, it was actually Mercury, Venus, then the moon, then the sun.
Then the sun.
Then Mars, then Jupiter, Saturn, yeah.
Right. Those are your 7 heavenly luminaries that are all taught by Enoch. And so Enoch was given this picture for all 7, and he was shown all the paths of all the days to be counted. And he wrote them all down. And he showed and taught his people this, but he obviously didn't have the flat screen or the iMac or the cell phone that you're looking at on. But this is exactly how it's expressed in his book.
Yeah, so just so everybody sees here, this is the difference. I'm going to take it back to, here we are at May 21st. We are at this line now. This last gate, we go to the next 21st, and that's got us out at the summer solstice here, right? And then another
month to get there through the half section.
And then another
month to come back.
Yep. So that's
there all along. I don't know why we weren't counting it.
We were just thinking, 15 out, 15 back, because it looked smaller.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
It's not moving.
The sun doesn't change its speed, but this isn't about its speed. This is its outwards positioning, or its gyroing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a fishing line, how it rolls spools.
Yeah, so we're always trying to come to the best understanding as possible. I didn't want to actually click on that. Let's go back here. So,
Starting to get closer.
Yeah. Circling sun debunks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we are looking for the seals to be opened, and last year we sort of had them crunched in close near the fall festivals, but now we've got sort of an open playing field where I could see the seals being opened, maybe any time after the Great American Eclipse coming up. Once we hit the new year, the real new year, I could see it being time for seals to be opened. And then we would have until the fall festival. So that could be like a 6-month period for the opening of the seals, right?
Yeah, we're anticipating and watching. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And also being mentally prepared and faithful for eternity to get up and do the same job forever, regardless of watching. We're also watching how we conduct ourselves on a day-to-day basis, keeping it in a perpetual balance, which we want all the viewers to be balanced and not be, constantly thinking that everything is going to end the very next second, because you really are going to be living for eternity.
Mm-hmm. So then we pointed out QNFE. He's a shill that's been around since we both knew him before we knew each other, right?
Well, he does do some decent work too. We're the only ones that actually share his content, and he just throws us under the bus all the time. Just one of the same people, haters, doesn't want to contribute, doesn't want to be a regular guy, whatever. Q made the list last year. And then we got Snake Tongue. But put the Snake Tongue yet, it looks like.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, so more Brenda Weltner exposed. And then we had a new team Yahawashai member that joined us for a live stream, Gloria. That was fantastic. And working on spiritual healing. So we also have I have a Telegram group for those that are interested in trying to defeat the ego.
Very important work.
People can always.
Hawkins is in there.
He is in there.
Yeah, you can't put it on YouTube. His wife there, widowed, or she'll sue you or whatever.
She will.
Yeah.
So here's us looking for the possible beginning of the Great Tribulation in 2023, but no, we didn't see that.
We got Epstein and Trump making an appearance. The true 7-day warning to the 9th of Av.
Nope.
Sounded like fun.
Then we started talking about Kingdom Coin, which is going to be something that we continue to talk about. We do have, excuse me, Fundamental Truth number 10 will be coming out soon, and it's going to be about the true gospel of the kingdom. So, in talking about the true gospel of the kingdom, Kingdom Coin will be a part of that discussion as well, because, well, we're also going to be getting to Fundamental Truth number 9 as we move along here, which has to do with once saved, always saved being a lie. Right? So works is actually something that we are measured by. It's all throughout the scripture, right?
Yeah. When he comes back, he's going to judge everybody according to everything that they did.
Yeah, so
Judged by.
The message that we are continually preaching, and we will be doing the same message again this next fall, is repent, be baptized, and do the fast. Yeah, so these are the things that, according to the scripture, are essential for a person if they want to be sealed.
If you want to get sealed, it says right there, hey, seal those who do this.
Right.
And it's for everybody. It's not, you got the Scotty Clark reemergence, and everything is about Israel now. Oh, that's for the Israelis. Everything is about, no, that's for the Gentiles. Absolute just nonsense. Nobody knows who anybody is. The truth is that the message went out to all people, all creation. If you are alive, repent, be baptized, and fast for a day and give credit to the Creator for giving you life. And then you get great things happen.
So then we went through the whole wave where all the rapture channels were referencing like NASA asteroids.
Oh,
right. And then once they
witchcraft.
Look up this asteroid, it's got some number, and then they look that up in Strong's, and then they do gematria with it.
It's Christian witchcraft. There's
Christian
absolutely
witchcraft.
no different from somebody reading you a tarot card deck. These people, and they're taking NASA supposed astronomers,
Rocks in the Oort belt.
They somehow identify something that you can't see. Listen, you can't see Neptune. You can't see Pluto. You can't see Uranus. You can't see these things in the sky with a telescope, people. But they're telling you that they can, that the rapture is on us because Strong's Concordance 2424 says that the king has been here or something, and these people that I can't even believe, and then they ask for donations. And this whole Revelation 12 sign number 2 was the most ridiculous thing I had ever seen. I had never seen anybody follow such vain imaginations before in the so-called Christian community, and I'm not surprised anymore.
So then we were able to point out that the day Christ was baptized was Elul 1, and then the 40-day fast took place, and then he showed up on the Day of Atonement. All right, so getting to know the true schedule of how those things went down.
That next thumbnail. Wow.
Yeah, the Satanic Vatican Rapture community finally acknowledged the Ring of Fire. So we had been pointing out for a long time that there was this Ring of Fire eclipse coming, and they wouldn't talk about it because they had gone a month off with their calendar.
But they did acknowledge it, and then at the time of the Ring of Fire eclipse, they all said that they know that they got it wrong. The majority of them, not like Bob and a bunch of other guys, but the Aaron crew, and I think it was Ricardo and a bunch of other guys, they all stated that they were moving it ahead a month, but then they still celebrated everything at the wrong time still.
Yep. Then, so bringing out how these guys are grifters. A lot of all these false doctrine people, they actually make a living off of their the sheep that they grift, right?
A lot of money. I think it's the highest grift. It might be the Christianity one.
All right, so let's see. Then there was the Ring of Fire eclipse. So we we're into the eclipses. We went and checked them out, and we found a really neat place to do it here. Mm-hmm. Not too far from where we're at. They had this big cross up there, and it was it was an awesome location to go see this Ring of Fire eclipse.
Mm-hmm. There was a little downsides to it. There was some crazy preaching, absolute blasphemous stuff going on, but the majority of the people there were really nice. They just, everybody was excited to see the eclipse, and it didn't get dark. It did not get dark at all. It's completely disproving the whole entire theory that we believe that the moon is what size it is and the sun is what size it is. It absolutely would have caused a lot of darkness when you cover that much of the sun, but no, that's not what happened.
Flat Earth Fridays, sun speeds, right? So the whole sun speeds issue, if the fake flat earthers say that at winter it's going around that green circle, and at summer it's going around the pink circle, well, that means that to go around in 24 hours, it has to speed up and slow down. And it doesn't work that way, everybody.
No, it goes slower. It goes slower on the extremities.
Yeah. And that green, it's the pink line and the green line, those are the same speeds, and the blue line is the fastest.
Yeah. Well, and in reality, the pink and the green line are equal. Mm-hmm. All three lines are equal.
Yep. Going after Barry Ah. They're such Halloween promoters. That's so satanic.
Well, and then they go, and that's just the wind up for Christmas. They're the big, their kids got married. Remember on the Christmas before this one? Mm-hmm. And so they super Halloweens. They even got like the nun with the short skirt on in the picture. How the guy's got the NASA outfit on. How much more blasphemous can you get? And then they're Christians. They're holy people, right? They said that all things are virtuous to the virtuous.
Holy to the holy.
Holy to the holy. Get out of here. I mean, if you want to have fun, why not just say it? But they've got to try to tie it to the Bible. Barry comes up trying to make it out that Halloween is a festival date for, was it all of those who were lost in the flood? That's what he tries to state. But
I
the
think so.
flood started and ended in the spring, right? When there was food for the animals to eat. They didn't come off the ark in the wintertime. It's a inversion of the truth that you get from these agents. Captain, it says a-hole. He absolutely is earning that title. If will these people ever turn from their ways? Will they ever turn and say, you know what? Okay, I want the truth.
We'll find out. We'll see. So then we had a Day of Atonement live stream. So the Day of Atonement is a fast of food and liquid. And, I was impressed with the group that did it. And I have a feeling that a bunch of people that did do the fast will be encouraged and probably do it again next year. There's a feat of accomplishment there. And it is what the scriptures ask us to do, tell us to do.
Yeah.
So then, yeah. So then this Joker came out. We had, what was his name? Yeah, Tyler
Oliveira. He was a horrible actor. His channel's garbage. You don't even click on it. You follow it just because you see if he does anything else, jillery. But they had the whole, again, Mark Sargent and the Flat Earth. We've been covering this for 7 years, how this same team has done nothing but just throw the truth under the bus as much as they possibly can. Mark, literally, part of his pitch is, come on, I want you to make fun of me. I want you to debunk me. I want you to make me look stupid. That's Mark's motto, right? And again, we covered it. Same with the mockumentary, Behind the Curve. Jason and I were way out in front of it, telling people that they're trying to smear the Flat Earth. So the Freemasons, they swore oaths to have more power against everybody. So they want you to believe that you live on a sphere, right? And the way that they get you to believe back that you live on a sphere is they give you a debunkable Flat Earth model, which is the AE map model with the sun circling around it. And then they tie that to the Bible, right? And try to debunk the Bible and the AE map in one swoop. That's the goal.
All right. Who remembers Gaza invading Israel?
I mean, I do. And, surprisingly, all of our content that you don't have on the screen is we did content on Rumble because war is a hoax, as well as the beginning of this. We always get strikes on YouTube showing that war is theater, right? It's a bunch of Freemasons doing drills.
Mm-hmm. So then exposing this Russian vid psyop, they're trying to push Dave like Dave's some sort of Christian now.
Yeah, he's got what's that, Psalms 1911 on his shirt or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So then we knew based on getting past 11/11 that we weren't probably going to see a great tribulation begin in 2023. So we sort of set our sights on 2024 after that. And
just to point out, we're making sure that everybody tuning in understands we're not watching for a rapture event. We're watching for the Great Tribulation. The two witnesses to get powered up and start kicking butt is what we're watching for, and to celebrate like the Book of Enoch told us to do.
So then the whole Dean Odell thing started to kick off, and we're pointing off once again that the real Flat Earth Society is anybody that promotes that Earth is circular or a dome or pressurized, or that the sun and moon do circles around the North Pole. Any of those things, that is the teaching of the real Flat Earth Society.
Yeah, well, they say, we don't believe in that we're moving upwards, but everything else about the model that the Flat Earth Society they share is identical. So they are literally Dean Odell and David Weiss and all of them. They literally are the Flat Earth Society of 2024.
Robbie Davidson actually uses like the identical same logo.
He colored it, right? He gave it color. Yeah. It's the same logo with the shine symbol for the stars and the sun rising. You can see it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be blind not to see it.
So then talking about true enlightenment, this topic has to do with defeating the ego, which is a topic that if you're interested in, you can reach out. There are ways to defeat the ego. And
very important, actually. To be balanced, you actually have to defeat the ego. It can be likened done to, Christ's sacrifice, how we're supposed to, die to the flesh daily, you can look at the ego as simply the embodiment of the fleshly desires in this reality. And if you don't defeat the ego, you're just a walking target. You're like the easiest opponent for
Well,
someone who's defeated the ego to destroy.
You fall victim to your own thoughts, actually. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
So the whole purpose of defeating the ego is to take yourself out of the misery that you tend to traumatize yourself and put yourself in.
Yeah, well, and to watch when you get overstimulated, excited about any topic, right? When something that, you have an alarm that goes off, and that's what you try to foster and learn. And like Jason said, if there's anybody that's tuning in and you're interested, please leave a comment below and you can get a link to the Telegram group where you can absolutely follow the path to understanding the map of consciousness and how to defeat the ego.
Absolutely. So then we heard about the debate that was coming between Dean Odell and that Greg Locke guy, and we knew that it was supposed to be about the 200 biblical verses that prove the earth is flat. We already knew that the 200 verses aren't a true 200 verses, and that what they do with a lot of the scriptures is strong arm, straw man, false
dilemmas.
Well, the translations. It's just bad translations. So the circle of the earth is circuit of the earth. The rakia, the firmament is rakia, and that's in a vast expanse or horizon.
So they do like a similarity to the tarot deck cards or the Strongs. They choose the words in the translations that align with their ideology instead of actually understanding the full scope of the context of the scripture, because you get a bunch of different meanings, because Greek had, a lot of different ways to say certain words. It was detailed Greek. And when you find out that every single doctrine, and what they did was it was the 200 verses that Nathan Roberts wrote with a bunch of nonsensical ones that had no place of being there, he attacked those. We thought it was going to be something much more, grander. And his big debunk of Dean was, does the sun rise and set? Dean Odell. And Dean said, no. And he said, get out of my church. You're a Bible denier. And then Dean threw the mic at him and he smacked it down on the ground. Because Dean is absolutely a Bible denier. He is a scriptural denier, because it says many, many, many times that the sun rises and the sun sets. Absolutely. It doesn't approach you and then leave you. That's just nonsense.
Yeah, so we covered the fruits of the spirit, and then, like Ronnie was talking about right there, that the great biblical false dialectic debate. We saw that one coming, and that was, orchestrated by David Weiss, and it had Matt Long sitting alongside him. And these are the characters that they use to try and do this false dialectic, the false dilemma, and they try to tie the Bible to the impossible fake flat earth.
Yeah, well, you're doing to the trilemma or whatever, because the false dilemma is they give you two choices, but both are wrong. And then they throw the Bible on top of it, and Trinitarianism, and once saved, always saved, only by the blood. And all of that is wrapped up into an incorrect worldview that they established off of King James Freemason bad transliterations.
And then we revisited the jet fuel hoax again. It had been a long time. Yes.
Viral almost. Well, I mean, the debate did well too. Even though we used to get, much more views, but still, wow, look at that.
Yeah. Just trying to mix it up. We do the flat earth, and we just wanted to bring that one back up. Yeah. And then fundamental truth number 9, once saved, always saved, is Vatican false doctrine. So
absolutely.
Yeah, the truths have grown from the first 4 that we started with 7 years ago to 9 right now, and soon it'll be 10. And here we are live.
You can see how censored Jason is. The only video that we've seen scrolling, that 1 view per hour VPH there, as you can see here. It's ridiculous what they've done. But YouTube, you do what you do. Okay, everything's being judged. So we got our live stream there to the left. So we're right up to the recap now. Out of the whole year, maybe if people want to leave a comment below, what was your favorite topic out of the Gregorian satanic year of 2023? And remember, from 2020 to 2023, if you took out the zeros and added up those numbers, you had 666. So I'm just glad we're through that now. We're almost a couple of hours here in Central Standard Time. But yeah, my up, out of the whole year, the T-jump thing seemed to be, I think I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that the most. The T-jump podcast, or the live stream that we did when I joined you. I thought that was just really a lot of fun.
It was fun.
And, and the other things is too, I'm just super thankful and grateful that we've had the amazing music and that, we've had all these topics to go over. You've put up some great videos explaining the zodiac sign. We've got the theological charts. Everyone can get it in the description box, and soon to be in a pinned comment under every video. You'll be able to find all the links to all of our content, the mixtapes that we do, all of the different stuff is going to be amalgamated into a pinned comment, and we're going to have enough stuff in the description box when we put the fundamental truth number 10 talking about the kingdom. It needs to be a little bit longer so that people can understand what is about to take place.
Yeah, it'll be a big one.
So we got part 2 of the Simpsons still to look at, right?
We do. Let's bring that up.
Yeah, we're not going until midnight because, again, we're not celebrating. This isn't our new year, okay? We're not, celebrating Janus, the two-faced whatever goat guy thing. No, that's not what we do. We celebrate when the sun is in the land in the sky.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and check out part 2 of this.
The Simpsons have made some alarming predictions about the year 2024. The episode where Lisa becomes president shows rampant civil unrest and a breakdown of law and order across the nation under her leadership. Some see parallels to fears that controversial election outcomes could spark widespread protests and instability. In the episode depicting Springfield becoming authoritarian, strict curfews and surveillance of citizens are imposed. Critics argue this mirrors concerns that government overreach of civil liberties seen during the pandemic could continue long-term. Deep political divides shown between the U.S. DUSA factions include politicians refusing to work together. Some analogize this to worries that polarization makes cooperation and problem-solving impossible in Washington. The high inflation episode has the characters struggling just to afford bread. Present inflation levels not seen in decades align with this episode's prescient view of economic hardship facing many Americans. Other past Simpsons predictions that came true include Trump's presidency, the discovery of exoplanets, and video calling, showing the show's uncanny ability to envision future societal changes, sometimes years in advance.
Oh, one of the key things to point out is a day's wages for a loaf of bread. That absolutely is a great tribulation marker.
Mm-hmm.
Something we're watching for.
Absolutely.
So I also think maybe the reason why they're tranny, well, it might have been, but it might be AI that's created this. This might be someone that put in some words to get some, Simpsons morphs, because I don't think that, because that's Homer, but it's Marge. All right. So I don't know. There's weird stuff going on in that one. They're just talking about everybody being broke. So we'll see what happens. We're keeping our eyes to the skies and all the different catchphrases that everybody on the internet's use, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Catchphrase.
So that was our year in review. That's the Satanic, Pagan, Wiccan, Gregorian year, right?
2023.
Ooh, goodbye.
Yeah, good riddance to you.
That's
Let's
nasty.
go with 2024. 2 times 4, you get 8. I like the 8s. Takes us to the best one, fundamental truth number 8, that you will live forever even if you die. So yeah, thank you to everybody that tuned in. I don't have too much that I want to go over. Just I hope everybody has a safe night. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. We're going to be live again probably next weekend, maybe Friday or Saturday or Sunday. We'll see how it goes, right?
Sounds great. Sounds great. Where's the only place people are going to get this content, brother?
Only on the Yahawashai News Network.